And now, gather the family around and sit back in your easy chair. It's time again for the Woodsongs Old Time Radio Hour, our worldwide celebration of grassroots music. Let's welcome folk singer Michael Jonathan.
This is show number 1099. You get to find out about Sugarcane Jane, as well as our next artist who sings her songs about Appalachia, the early coal mining days, a lot of experiences of folks in the mountains in the 1930s and 40s. It's really nice that she's here. We're going to have a fine conversation about that. This is a song called Going Once. Please welcome Mindy Murray to the Woodsongs Old Time Radio.
By the barn, throw in the plow and the car. Who'll start bidding on this farm? It's going once, going twice, so it's going once, going twice, so Charlie Budd near Torresdale got it for a song. Martha had 9 children there. One more came along, but dreams don't stretch out that far. I hear 1,000 for this farm. It's going once, going twice, so it's going once, going twice, so they planted beans and corn in the field out back. They just couldn't sell enough to pay off the tax. Telling the kids was pretty hard. I hear 2,000 for this farm. It's going once, going twice, so it's going once, going twice, so a tractor was not in the cards. They used a horse and plow. And in the shadow of Billy Penn, they raised chickens and cows. But in the end, they stood there arm in arm. I hear 3,000 for this farm. It's going once, going twice, so it's going once, going twice, so peaches were their final hope. They took them into town. But in 1929, no buyer came around. Fruit and hope dashed upon the ground. I hear 4,000 for this farm. It's going once, going twice, so it's going once, going twice, so it's going once, going twice, so it's going once, going twice, so.
From her album called Big Oak Road. Going Once is the song. Mindy Murray, it's very nice to have you here. Thank you for being part of Woodsongs.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you have a very interesting background. You waited 25 years of marriage before you finally got your first Martin guitar. So
No,
tell me.
it's not quite true. I had a little 0018C.
The little parlor guitar. Those are nice little guitars, aren't they?
Yeah.
But now you've got this big,
Now I've got
beautiful
this
concert-ready performer, right? It's a beautiful sounding guitar.
Thank you.
And your music is gravitating very closely towards the spirit of rural America, rural communities, very much so in the mountains of Appalachia. You have a lot of history there, right? So where's your interest coming from? Is it a family thing? Did you grow up around it?
No, I actually grew up north of Philadelphia, but I went to medical school in West Virginia. So I went to WVSOM, and it was really the mission of our school was to train people to take care of the folks in Appalachia.
You had 2 doctors there that really introduced you to this music too.
Yes,
right?
I did. Actually, when I interviewed at the school, there were 2 doctors who interviewed me who were musicians, and they were in a band called Ram Supper. And by the time you get to that stage of interviews, like everybody's kind of on par with grades and everything else, but, you know, I think I attribute music to, you know, helping me to become a doctor now, you know.
So you are a physician, you are a doctor.
Yes, I am.
You're a singing, coal mining, praising physician. So that's a unique part of your resume, isn't it?
It's
so
different, yeah.
Let's talk about the song that we're getting into next is called Blair Mountain.
Right.
And what happened at Blair Mountain is probably one of the most horrible parts of the last 100 years and what happened out there. So just briefly, give us the Cliff Notes version of what happened out there.
Yeah, in 1921, I mean, they were trying to bring the unions into the coal fields of southern West Virginia, and there was a lot of animosity between the people who owned the coal mines and the workers themselves, and they you know, the workers realized that they needed a better life for themselves and their family.
And to be clear here, so the audience understands, back then, the coal operators essentially owned the community the coal miners were part of. They you know, the script store where they lived, who they paid rent to, everything was owned by the coal operators, and that community was owned by that person. And that person was not always fair.
Right, exactly. I mean, you know, they would, you know, they would have checkers and weighers who would weigh the coal, but the coal never quite got weighed right. And, you know, it was just, there was a lot. It was
a dangerous line of work.
It was, absolutely. And we even saw that, like, in the 80s when I was in medical school. You still saw that, you know, you still saw the people with the lung
I tell you,
problems
to every family that had coal miners as part of their background, we salute them for what they had to go through just to make a living out there. And I'll tell you, Appalachia is probably the most misunderstood, romantic, mystical, beautiful place of America that is completely misrepresented by the media most of the time. We did a show, and I don't mean to overtalk here, but we did a Woodsongs broadcast about mountaintop removal with Emmylou Harris and Darrell Scott. But your song is going to explain a lot of this. So let's get into the music. This is a tune called Blair Mountain. It's a true story. It actually happened. It's Mindy Murray on the Woodsongs, Old Time Radio.
Crawling up Blair Mountain, brush as dense as coal, so close you feel their breath upon your face, so close they would steal your soul. We have a list of 8 demands, and basic are they all. The right to speak and organize and assemble in our union hall. Don't blacklist our union leaders. Let us shop who we damn well please. No more violent mine guards from Baldwin Felt's detective agency. We have a list of 8 demands, and basic are they all. The right to speak and organize and assemble in our union hall. So we're in red bandanas, we cross our Logan County line. You send planes to bomb us, filled with shrapnel and alkali. We have a list of 8 demands, and basic are they all. The right to speak and organize and assemble in our union hall. Now Keeney and Mooney met the governor. Turn around or you'll be tried. Troops went in and killed 2 of our own in Sharples down at that Logan County line. We have a list of So Chafin raised an army, deputies, mine guards, and cops. We miners never will fire on our own, so we surrendered right on the spot. Now, scattered on Blair Mountain, 16 men lay dead. 12 of them were miners. They were cut down by Chafin's men. They were cut down by Chafin's men. And 4, they were Chafin's men.
Mindy Murray on our broadcast. The song is Blair Mountain, a true story of what actually happened in Appalachia. We're going to get back more with Mindy Murray in the second half hour. If you want to know more about their music, you just have to visit the Woodsongs website. Click on the archive page. This is show number 1099. You get to find out about them, as well as our next artist, too. She's going to do a great song called Cold Kentucky Rain. Welcome back, Mindy Murray on the Woodsongs, Old Time Radio.
Kentucky rain, peaceful in their own homesteads, planting beans and maize while 3 sisters watched over the beds. Gentle rain that used to soothe have turned violent now instead. In that cold Kentucky rain, in that cold Kentucky rain, in that cold Kentucky rain. Kentucky rain, the heavens opened up, shedding all their pent-up tears in a torrent of that luck, overflowing creeks and streams, and the trailers all filled up with that cold Kentucky rain. In that cold Kentucky rain, in that cold Kentucky rain. Kentucky rain, they went down into the mines. Harlan County waged a war, and they won that right to strike. Led on Highway 23 when they read that fateful signs of the cold Kentucky rain. In that cold Kentucky rain, in that cold Kentucky rain. Kentucky rain, 4 children lost their lives when the water rose so high, it caught them by surprise. Their parents tried their best, they'll forever hear their cry in that cold Kentucky rain. In that cold Kentucky rain, in that cold Kentucky rain.
Powerful song. Cold Kentucky Rain, Mindy Murray on Woodsongs. And your background is very interesting. I mean, folk music has been a big part of your life, especially when you were a kid. So we're going to get on with the encore section. And we're going to start with Mindy, and then our Woodsongs kid, Keeley, and then we'll end the evening with Sugarcane Jane. So, Mindy, what do you want to sing for everybody?
I'm going to do a song. It's the only song my dad and I wrote together.
That ugly war raged day and night, as rough as ever seen. Moved with bloody accuracy across the home and farm of Mary Green. The cannons roared and the air was thick, you could hear died. Town by town and state by state, gently lay them in that warm Georgia clay. Now Sherman's men were eastward bound, they left no stone unturned, and in their wake 500 men in hasty shallow graves interred. Tearful eyes looked out upon a devastating scene. So many boys and men were lost when war split through the nation's seam. Head to toe and side by side, shrouded in the field they died. Town by town and state by state, gently lay them in that warm Georgia clay. They laid these boys from Tennessee in the ground beside the others, and then they wrote letters home to the sweethearts and their mothers. Stands she did not justify, and their own flags they did wave, but they fell in the field of merry dreams that all dead shall have a decent grave. Head to toe and side by side, shrouded in the field they died. Town by town and state by state, gently lay them in that warm Georgia clay. Now she and her sisters lay there dead, head to toe and side by side. Sherman took his fallen men and sent them on their final ride. So in Reseca now, beneath the cross, whose families did not claim, eternity's the price you pay when you lay in clay without a name. Head to toe and side by side, shrouded in the field they died. Town by town and state by state, gently lay them in that warm Georgia clay. Gently lay them in that warm Georgia clay. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Mindy. And the artists will be in the lobby as you leave. They'll be out there to say hello to everybody and greet you and thank you for coming out.